So welcome to the second meeting, and this is the agenda we're going to do today. So welcome to everybody. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about App Connect. I've got a short presentation around it. I'm going to show you two demos, pre-recorded, and I'm also the links you could find for those demos is on the screen there. And there's also another demo in there, a 45-minute demo from Andy Garrett, one of our techies from the lab, that's doing a huge amount of work in this field. And I'm going to share a little bit of news, interesting stuff that's happening, behind the scenes from IBM that you might not see every day. And if there's time, we'll go into a general discussion. Then my planning for next week is I've been taking the lead from ABSA and Nedbank here, and they've both made noises last time that they want to discuss a little bit more about what we call the citizen integrator. This is very often a guy that is sitting in a line of business and he's trying to do integration for his line of business, but he's not necessarily working very closely with the integration team inside the bigger organization. And there's some issues and some good things about that, specifically when stuff going wrong, or around security and so on. I'm going to try and get Andy Garrett has done quite a bit of work from us in the labs around this to attend this meeting, or to get me a pre-recorded presentation as well. So that is my plan for next week to discuss. And then if there's time, we can get some more suggestions. I've made a big list of things we need to discuss. I've got topics for the next few from last week's meeting, and we'll try and work through them and try to prioritize them. Not this week, but hopefully next week. I will put up a can see if we can prioritize this.
When you say App Connect, are you talking about App Connect Enterprise? Because I've got a bit of OCD. I mean, it has to be what it is.
100%. So I'm gonna App Connect is it's got more than one portion in there. There's App Connect Enterprise. So we're not talking about App Connect Enterprise today. We're talking about App Connect Professional, although it's just called App Connect these days. And I'm going to show you a few demos on how to use it. So you'll see there's some overlap. And then the funny thing is, you can take, for instance, a bar file that you've created in App Connect Enterprise, and you can actually deploy it inside App Connect on the web. I'm not going to show that demo today. I think Andy might have one in there. I'm not 100% sure. Otherwise, I can show it at a different time. But let me do you a few slides around it, and maybe you'll get a better understanding. And definitely the two demos, about 6 minutes each, and that I'm going to show around it. So just a reminder of what is inside the Cloud Pak for integration. We're talking about put on my laser pointer. There's a set of products in there, APIs, application and data integration. This is where we're talking today. There's messaging, events, high-speed transfer, and integration security from a high level. Slide, application integration market is absolutely massive out there. Application integration is really fast growing out there. And one of the reasons for that is because whenever you move something to a cloud, there's more often than not, there's a link that you need to make to other clouds out there, or maybe to on-premise. There's some numbers down here, you can take it with a little bit of salt or not. Integration underpins your digital customer experiences. Everybody has got some kind of digital business they're doing today, and they call it by various names. But large volumes of valuable customer data exist inside very complex systems across our organizations. Most of us is not lucky enough to be born on a web organization, and we've got things like legacy, super legacy, really old mainframe applications. Applications have been written in C, C++, running on all kinds of different platforms out there, iSeries, etc., etc. So we've got a complex world out there, and we need to exchange data from those systems that's available and that's got the data out there today. But we also need to do it in a very controlled kind of way. So one of the solutions from IBM, of course, we are a big middleware company, and a lot of our middleware is around integration. But one of our solutions is IBM App Connect. So it's easy to use integration tooling that suits a range of different skills sets and users. And very often the tooling we're going to see today is more aimed at citizen integrator, the guy we're going to talk about next week. Not necessarily for your very deep integration skill, although I've seen everybody in the deep integration skill use these kind of tools as well to get the job done. So App Connect provides simple tooling for business users to automate their workflow and allow more technical users operating in the shadow ID teams to create powerful integrations using a no-code approach out there. So it's flexible deployment options, etc. So some of the key capabilities is that it will expose REST APIs through a model-driven approach, and we'll see that in the demo. It's lowest price on the market. It's very easy to go out there and get done. In fact, you can play today with it on the light plan for free. Everything you see on my demos that I'm going to do today is done on the light plan. There's apparently an award-winning graphical interface. It looks quite sleek and so on. And of course, there's awards out there for people that innovate in this area. It's a simple configuration-based approach to build integration and API flows. The tooling, however, is quite powerful. It's universal connectivity, and it's still growing extremely fast. Some of the benefits: zero coding, zero training. Although you need to play around with it a bit, look at the demos, and fiddle a bit to get it going. No add-ons, no hidden cost, lowest entry cost, total cost of ownership. All connectors developed, maintained, and managed by IBM. And there's 24/7 follow the sun support included with a license. That's now if you go for the paid options. Key differentiators: universal connectivity is connect to any endpoint out there. I think there's about 150 endpoints pre-configured smart connectors at the moment. Support for a broad range of protocols: JMS, HTTP, HTTPS, MQ, TCP/IP, and so on. It's an API-led integration backed by other styles. You can mix and match. You don't have to start at a specific point. And the tooling suits a range of different skill sets out there. It's a no-code configuration. It also works with App Connect Toolkit. And it's made for integration. It's a new project IBM started several years ago. It integrates your data for you, sync data between systems and cloud applications. I'm going to show you it in the demo now. It acts on events, so it recognizes and responds to new events as they occur across your ecosystem. I'm going to show you a demo on that. And you can build APIs, access, transform, and combine your data to expose it as new APIs. In summary, why choose IBM App Connect? The broadest deployment options, simplest tooling experience, best support, and flexible pricing and licensing options. And there's some links here to get more information. So this was the short version of the presentation. If you need a lot more information, certainly IBM and maybe from our business partners can do you a much deeper dive on what is App Connect. So let me start up.
Just a quick question. I understand from an ACE entitlement perspective, you can use App Connect.
That's correct, yes.
But the cloud pack specifically states ACE, and App Connect is a different runtime. Does that mean the runtime for App Connect is included in the pack?
Yes, it is included in the pack, and you can. It always used to be only App Connect that you can use on our web or the IBM Cloud, but it's moved down into the pack now, so you can install it on premise locally as well. From what I know is that not all connectors is yet working on the on-premise version of App Connect, but they're working towards that.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first demo is going to be App Connect MQ, how to move MQ messages directly into Google Sheets. I've just picked it that way. I just need to get my sharing going. Hi there, my name is Frans van der Merwe and I work for IBM in South Africa. In this video I'm going to show you how to use IBM App Connect to connect IBM MQ running on IBM Cloud with Google Sheets. So we're going to have MQ as the source and we're going to pick out the data from that message. I'm going to make it some JSON data and we will move that data into Google Sheets. So what I've got open on my screen is I've got the IBM MQ that I've created on IBM MQ, on IBM Cloud, and in there I've got a queue manager called QM3, and there's a few queues in there. I'm actually going to use this queue called dev.queue.1 as my source queue. I've also created an account on Google Sheets, and I'm going to move the data in here. Now if I go in here and I say I want some columns with a name, and maybe I'm going to put in number 1, number 2. That's enough for a demo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an event-driven flow. Event-driven flow in App Connect means that there's a trigger message that started somewhere. In App Connect, there's several applications that I can use as the initial trigger message. When you scroll down in there, you'll see there's several of popular applications out there. So I'm going to use IBM MQ. I've already created an account to log into IBM MQ. And I'm going to say when a new message arrives on the queue, I'm going to move it. I'm going to start this in. The name of the queue is going to be dev.queue.1. After I've received this message, I actually want to parse this message out in JSON. So I'm going to go to the JSON parser. And for the input, I'm going to scroll down. You see this is my MQMD of my MQ message. And right at the bottom in here, there's actually the message data. I'm going to select the message data from input. I also want to give it a schema to parse with. I'm going to give it some sample JSON. I've got a copy of what I want to use. So you see in here, in my source data, I've got name, number 1 and number 2. And I'm going to generate a schema from that. And it will generate a schema and now knows how to parse the data that's coming in from MQ. As output data, I'm going to pick Google Sheets. There's my Google Sheets. I've signed on here as an account. And what I want to do is I want to create a row in Google Sheets as soon as I receive this message from MQ. In signing on with there, it will actually go out to Google Sheets and it will ask me which sheet do I want to use. I've actually got a sheet open with the name of demo sheet, so I'll pick demo sheet. It'll go back to that sheet now and try and see which worksheet I'm working on. I've called this one demo 1, so I'm going to pick demo 1. And then in there it actually understands that I've got name, number 1, number 2, and you see it actually picks the column names I've used there. You can see there I've used the space there and no space for number 2, so that's where those fields are coming from. And now I want to put the data in there. Now there's my JSON that's been parsed out. And I'm going to pick the name from there. I'm going to pick the number from the next one. And for the third column, I'm going to pick number 2. And that's all I need to do. I'm going to start this flow now. Start flow. And I can go back to the dashboard. And you see there's my MQ to Google Sheets flow in a running state. If I now go to MQ and I go to dev Q1, I want to put a test message in there. I'm going to paste the data in there. So for instance, number 5, just to show that this is actually live, I'm going to change that to 8, and I'm going to put the data. If I scroll down here, you'll see there's one message in the queue. You can refresh this, and there you see on the right left hand side, it's just added that message to the sheet. I can do another one just for showing purpose. Paste, and let me change this number to 9, and that one to 11. Put it in, and the row appears inside my sheet. And that's how easy it is to move data straight from MQ into Google Sheets with the help of App Connect. Thank you for watching. Good day. My name is Frans van der Merwe, and I work for IBM in South Africa. I would like to show you a short demo on how App Connect works. I've created 2 accounts for me, one in Trello and one in Event Demo. It's 2 free utilities out there. In Event Demo, I've created an event, and I've set the price of the event to be $0, which means that then it becomes a free account. And it took me about just a few minutes to set it up. At the same time, I've created a board in Trello. If you don't know Trello, go and have a look at it. But again, a free account. The important one to realize, you have actually created a board in there. One of them is called New. So what I want to do is whenever I create a new or somebody registers for an event in Eventbrite, I would like that to automatically pop up as a new card in my Trello. And let me show you how I do that integration with the help of App Connect. I've got an App Connect. I've started an App Connect on the IBM Cloud, and I'm going to create a brand new flow. It's going to be event driven. The event will be the registration of somebody inside Eventbrite. So I'm going to click a new one. I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to say something like Eventbrite to Trello, for instance. To start off, I look down at the list of entry points. If I scroll down here, you'll see there's actually quite a big list that can act as an event start. For now, I'm going to grab the one that says Eventbrite. In the entry here, I've actually created already an account. What you do is when you create a new account, you give him the sign-in parameters. And what I'm going to say is, when there is attendees and there's a new attendee, I would like to kick off this mapping. For the second entry, I want to write something to Trello, and you can see there's a much bigger list of entry points now. I'm going to skip the IBM ones. I'm going to go straight to the Trello one. There's Trello, and you can see I've also created already an account to sign into my Trello account. What I want to do here is that I want to have a look, and I want to say in my Trello boards, now I don't want to create a new board, I want to create a new card, add a card to a list. What it's going to ask me now is, do I belong to a team? Now I don't belong to a team in Trello, But I do have a board in Trello. If I click on a board, you will see that my board name was actually called to do. So I pick to do. And it goes back to my Trello account, do further requests, and it asks me to which list do I want to add this. You see there's my new, underway, and done. New, underway, and done down here. So I'm going to add it to new. And now it's going to say, well, there's 2 description fields I can add in there. It's going to pull out of Eventbrite information now. Now it understands the Eventbrite structure that's coming in. And in there, I would like to take the Eventbrite's, let's say the first name, and under name, just for argument's sake, I would like to pop in the last name. And that is it. I can now actually start this flow, start the flow. It is now in a running state. If I go back to my dashboard, down here, you can see there's my running one, Eventbrite to Trello. If I go now to my Eventbrite and I go and try and register for an event, remember I've created this event. So yes, I want 1 ticket. I go to checkout, and I would like to type my name in here. Say I want to type in John Durant. Leave my email address in there. I've added 2 fields down here so that I just need to put some dummy information in, and I can say complete registration. Now keep your eye on the left hand side of the screen. It's done the registration, and there it is. Durant is popping up on this way. Quite easy to do. For any information about this, just be sure to pop me a mail, fvdm@za.ibm.com. Thank you. Okay, guys, that was the demos. We've got 15 minutes left. Any comments around that?
So, sorry, Francois, perhaps just for an understanding from an historic perspective. So these connectors and this that you're showing us is part of the cloud offering, and it's going into the pack. But before the packs, we had ACE and there was App Connect Professional, which used to be called Cast Iron. Is this the same functionality, or are these new connectors that have been built?
So the idea was initially to take the cast iron connectors and to move them across to App Connect Professional, and as far as I know, that didn't work out so well. So this is new connectors, and there's a big lab building these connectors all the time at the moment. So yes, I know it looks and feels a little bit like the old cast iron, specifically after the cast iron was moved into the cloud version. But no, it is new connectors.
Thanks. Is there somewhere a list where we can see what the currently supported on-prem connectors is? You mentioned that not all of them is available on-premise yet. I'm specifically thinking about things like Dynamics 365 and the likes.
Okay, I can't point you to a link right now, but let me find out from the guys in the lab, and they might have a list for me. I'll get back to you on that question, Tian.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
So I think the connector list is published online under IBM under the App Connect online portal. There's a thing called connectors where all connectors are listed. I'm not sure if that's what people are looking for.
Yeah, but does it make a distinction between the connectors that's available on the IBM Cloud versus the connectors that's available on the on-premise installation of App Connect?
It just lists all of them.
Yeah, I see. So, and from what I understand is that not all of them that's on the cloud is available on-prem at the moment if you want to run App Connect on-prem with no connection to the cloud. So I'm just going to make 100% sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I've understood from a meeting a few months ago. But thank you for that. I will definitely point that link, put that link into the communication as well. If you go to the link, let me share the screen. If you go to the our list, and I've put it up here to this site over here, ibm.box.com/v/integration chit-chat. The V is from the first character of my surname. You will find both of these videos, links in there, and you'll also find a video from Andy Garrett in there. You will also find a link from Andy Garrett in there. There's 5 demos he's done in there, and a little bit more complex than my videos on exactly this. Just a little bit on interesting bits of news from IBM. I know you're seeing my Windows screen and not a presentation. I'm too scared to switch now. Some interesting thing that happened in the last bit. There was a message coming out yesterday that says Simon 2 masters his debut in the International Space Station. We've built IBM Watson technology robot. This is actually the robot, as you can see here on the screen. It's floating in space. It's a round ball. It's got a very friendly face on it and a few controls. But it's got voice commands on it, and it can do interesting things like the astronauts can say to this robot, "Go for me to this place in the space station," and it will actually fly there to that designated space, and then it can do things like take for me photographs, or do certain controls in there. So quite interesting, I think, to know that the Watson is doing quite a few things in there. It's using several of the Watson functionalities out in the space station today. Go and have a look at that, search for it. It's actually a very nice article. And then staying with a space theme, there's a very, very interesting read you can go and do on Apollo 13 as a third manned travel to the moon, on what IBM has done on that, and what the IBM has helped us make a success of this station. Okay, just a little bit of interesting news. A general discussion, guys. We've got 10 minutes left on the meeting. If anybody wants to discuss anything, now's the time. Unmute yourself and let's see if we can help each other or get some information out there. Let's move on for the planning for future meetings. We've got some suggestions from last week on what you guys would like to see in these meetings. I think we're trying to see how we can get past our lockdown situation as well, and still get some communication out there. Any specific topics on the integration field that you guys would like to do? There's some different people on the call from last week, so I've got a list from last week. Now is the time to make a suggestion, and I can see if I can make it happen.
Francois, in terms of the cloud pack, I'm not sure if you've done this or if it's been requested, some sort of a view of how the cloud pack would enable DevOps and perhaps using an external tool to kick off a DevOps process to deploy my code and integration service, as an example, into the pack.
Okay, excellent. Yes. So I was. We can do a session on that. I will definitely do that because we understand that in the cloud world with many containers all over the place, without a good CI/CD pipeline, it's going to be very difficult to deploy out there and stay secure. And I worked last year on a project with another bank where we've created artifacts inside the IIB or the H toolkit. As it was saved, it saved it directly to GitHub. From there, Jenkins was actually picking it up, doing JUnit and all kinds of testings for smoke testing to make sure everything is working. Then it was pulling in the image and building a Docker image and then actually deploying it on AWS cloud, on an Azure cloud in Ireland. So I know it's possible. There's a few moving parts in there, but I think that will be a very interesting discussion on exactly how to put something like that together and what tooling is available today. Thanks for that, Tian. I think as developers and as a user group, we've got lots of developers on here. That's always a good one to see. Guys, then so for next week, I'll follow more or less the same format. What we will do is we will have a look at the citizen integrator and how that person is assisting us with integration. I think it's a very important role to specifically make sure that we move integration skills throughout the organization, and also to make sure that we're safe while we're doing that. So this will be the end of this meeting. If you want anything else to discuss with me, I'll keep my line open for another 5 minutes. So you're welcome to chit-chat. Otherwise, I've got another meeting starting just after 10. I will close the meeting at that time. Thank you all.
Francois,
Yes, shoot.
in terms of what you said you will show next time for the citizen, I think one of the questions is, if you cover the topic, is how that influences the operational support around that. So today we understand when we support IB, what logs we look at, where we see what sort of information, if we have issues, with that being abstracted at a higher level to enable the citizen integrator. Historically, abstraction has meant support issues. So we can just get also a view of what do I see in order to support that thing once it's running, and I get queries to say this isn't working.
Thanks, Tian, 100%. I think I will ask specifically for our customers as well to if you can pop me ideas around that, of what you think is not working, what you think is working, and so on. But I will go into a discussion with our guys in the lab as well. I know they've done quite a lot of work around this, and specifically, the App Connect kind of side as well. There's a big, I say citizen integrator. I think IBM very often uses the terminology as shadow IT in there as well. And I'll get some of that information. I think we can have a good discussion around that.
Thank you.
By the way, has anybody tried that link, that integration chit-chat? I know when I initially set it up, there were some issues, and couldn't get to it, and it expired and so on. Can anybody give me a thumbs up if they've actually managed to see that box folder?
Yeah, it's working, Francois.
Thank you so much. Okay, I've pasted the link.
Can you perhaps share that newsroom URI as well, please, if you don't mind?
Oh, sure. I think there was...
Okay, Francois, thank you for the session. Much appreciated.
Pleasure, Tian.
Francois, cheers. Hey.
Yes, and by the way, there's a recording. I will tend to unwork the recording. Cut out all of those dead spots and whatever else, and I will post it in the same place.
Thank you, Francois. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I have to log on. Cheerio.